Hello? Welcome to Night, where the dark speaks and true stories haunt. This channel brings you real horror experiences, urban legends, and chilling encounters that people have truly lived through. Every episode is based on actual stories, told in a way that pulls you into the shadows. From haunted houses to unsolved disappearances, strange family secrets to ancient curses, we explore the kinds of stories that leave you questioning what's real. Perfect for late night listening or a lonely commute home. Subscribe and let the night in. If everyone can leave a comment to let me know where you are listening from in the world. Story: Seven Devils Bridge. South Carolina is full of ghost stories. Most of them cheap thrills born of boredom or drunken dares for teenagers. But Seven Devils Bridge? That one stuck with me. Not because I believed in restless spirits or midnight curses, but because I was once one of those bored teenagers, and although I didn't see anything, I heard something I've read hearing ever since. I didn't believe in ghosts. I just enjoyed fear, and in a small town there wasn't much to do. So one day a few friends and I went to go see the Seven Devils Bridge. The night we went to Seven Devils Bridge was thick with humidity. Nothing new for South Carolina. It was often hot and humid. The air still felt like the world was holding its breath. The road leading up to the bridge was barely visible, swallowed by trees that loomed in from both sides, back roads upon back roads. My friends joked and shoved each other, their laughter sharp against the quiet. But I wasn't laughing. I was listening. The air felt electric, and I felt something different. We stood on the bridge, waiting. The legend said that if you crossed at midnight, you wouldn't make it to the other side. A lot of nonsense, I thought. Still, we were bored and just wanted to get out of the house. This was supposed to be just another thing to do, to kill time. So I leaned against the rusted railing, staring down at the shallow creek below, waiting for something, anything to happen, to prove me wrong. That's when I heard it. A low cry. It was almost melodic, but broken, fragmented, like sound whispering through static. My head snapped toward my friends, but they were still laughing, still shoving, completely unaware. The sound twisted, shifting between notes, growing more distinct. Now just a hum, a voice, but the words were impossible to understand. My pulse hammered. I tried to shake it off, tried to tell myself it was the wind, the water below, some trick of my tired mind, but it was gone now. The wind blew gently. The slow flow of water in the creek droned, yet I didn't move. The sound, whatever it was, now gone, but the feeling of being watched remained. What was that? I wasn't sure if I was asking myself, my friends, or the air. My two friends looked at me amused. Were you actually getting freaked out? Dale asked, a smirk on his face, while James was dicking around on his phone. Did I imagine it? Trying to shrug the overwhelming feeling of eyes on me, I simply suggested we should go get a bit to eat on the way home. And we left, my friends still lulling about. I found myself antsy, slowing my walking to match their pace. Get a hold of yourself, pussy. I remember telling myself before pushing my thoughts away as we drove away from Seven Devils Bridge. The drive home should have put out of my mind. Dale and James kept up their usual antics, arguing over where to grab food, complaining about how dead the town was, but I barely heard them, their body alone. I kept glancing at the rear view mirror, almost waiting to see something lurking behind us. Nothing, just the empty road stretching into the night. Then the first time I heard it again, I was alone. It was the next morning, in my room, just before sunrise. That same sound, quiet as a hum, distant but impossible to ignore. My stomach twisted. I sat up listening, holding my breath. It sounded closer now, like it was inside. I turned toward my closet, setting ajar. Hadn't I closed it the night before? I couldn't remember. I couldn't be sure. No way. I got up, slammed it shut. The humming faded slowly. For a while I just sat there, unsure what I heard. Then my alarm went off. I jolted up again as if just waking up. Was that real? Was I dreaming? The uncertainty bleeding reality into fiction. At school it was worse. I was spacing out in class. I was usually sleeping in class, but I felt so wired. Then I thought I heard it again. Not a cry this time. Words, garbled, slipping between syllables like a language I knew but couldn't understand. I looked around, but no one else reacted. I pressed my palms against my face, squeezing my eyes shut. Not real, not real. I felt like a mantra I could will into existence. But when I opened them, my hands, they weren't my hands. They looked wrong. Smaller, thinner, not mine, not human. I blinked, and they were normal again. A distant voice in my ear let out a sharp laugh before fading into nothing. What I felt then wasn't just fear. I was frozen in place. The bell rang, but I sat there, not moving till I heard the shovel of the next class's feet. I quickly got up, shaking, sweating, and darted out of the room and into the bathroom. After emptying my stomach and leaving the restroom, I had one thought. Fuck this. Within the next 15 minutes, I was getting into my friend's old white Chevy truck, and we were peeling out of the parking lot. I remember thinking, at least I showed up today. To clarify, I was a great student. For the next few days, life settled back into usual haze of wasted hours and half-hearted decisions. No whispers, no voices, no twisted hallucinations. I convinced myself it had all been some weird trick of exhaustion, or the mind, maybe both, maybe a leftover fear from that damn bridge. So I let it go. I spent the afternoons gaming with Dale and James, trash-talking, losing track of time until the sky outside turned deep blue. I skipped school like usual, slept till noon, smoked just enough to keep reality soft around the edges. It was easy to pretend nothing had happened. Then it came back, like a distant hum, it came back. I was at Dale's place, leaned back on his busted couch, controller in hand, barely focused on some yet another match we were winning or losing. James was rolling a blunt, moaning about how expensive good weed was getting. Just another day, a normal day, and then the hum, low and fractured, the kind of sound you'd hear if someone was standing just behind you, breathing words through gritted teeth, something more primal than anger. I stiffened. James flicked his lighter, exhaling smoke. Dale cursed at the screen. Neither of them heard it, life parading on around me. I swallowed hard, eyes darting toward the darkened hallway, leading out of the living room we called home. Something was standing there, just a shape, unmoving. Wrong. I stared, blinked, gone. I exhaled slowly, forcing a smirk, forcing myself back into the game. This wasn't real. It wasn't I told myself. I took a deep inhale, letting the smoke roll through my lungs, heavier than it should have been. Relax. That's what I needed. That's what I told myself. Dale was still talking. Something about his ex and how she was certifiably insane. James was focused on rolling another blunt, eyes lazily tracking the process like it was second nature. Everything was normal. I was normal. This was normal. Then the sound, subtle, weaving between the static of the TV in the background, like a breath beneath the silence. I froze, focusing on the sound, trying to convince myself it was nothing. Paranoia, overthinking. Then the voice came low, sharp, slicing through the air like a blade. You are not alone. I choked on my breath, coughing violently, nearly knocking the coffee table over as I shot up and stumbled. James frowned at me. Dale paused mid-sentence. You good? Dale asked, raising an eyebrow. I tried to speak, but my throat was locked up, my heart hammering against my ribs. Not alone. What the hell did that mean? My head snapped toward the hallway again. Nothing. But I swore I felt something standing there, watching, breathing. I gripped the edge of the couch, my pulse thundering. The high suffocated me instead of calming me. James flicked his lighter, eyes narrowing. You sure you're good, bro? Something up? I let out a sharp, nervous laugh. It felt loud and forced. Nah, man, shit just hit me harder than I expected. I lied, forcing a smirk, wiping sweat from my forehead. I was not alone, and I silently hoped I was just losing my mind. The tension had reached a breaking point. I wasn't hiding it well anymore. I couldn't. The sleepless nights, the paranoia, the way I flinched at sounds no one else seemed to hear. Dale and James had started watching me, their jokes turning into quiet questions, uneasy glances. I could see it in their faces. They knew something was wrong. Finally, James snapped. "Look, man, what the hell is up with you?" he asked, blunt tucked behind his ear, arms crossed. "You've been losing your mind ever since we went to the bridge." Dale nodded, leaning against his truck. "Yeah, you ain't exactly subtle." I opened my mouth to lie, to brush it off, but I couldn't. Swallowing the lump in my throat, I simply asked, "You think it started there?" Voice hollow. James and Dale exchanged a glance. "I guess." "That's the only thing that makes sense," Dale said. "You were normal before." That word normal. Hearing it in the context hurt. James exhaled sharply. "Then maybe we gotta go back." My pulse spiked. "What?" He shrugged. "Think about it. Maybe it's like, I don't know. Maybe going back will help you chill out." Dale shrugged. "Fuck it, why not?" I wanted to argue, I really did. But the voice, the one that had been whispering in my ear for days, had said something, hadn't it? Come back. Fix it. Against every ounce of logic in my body, in cold sweat, I agreed. Seven Devils Bridge looked different this night. We stood at the edge, headlights casting long shadows over cracked pavement. The quiet suffocating from all sides. Dale was tense. James was still trying to act casual. But I felt sick. "I don't get it," Dale muttered. "What are we even supposed to do?" James shrugged. "See if something happens." I exhaled slowly, stepping forward. The air felt wrong, like the pressure had shifted. My hands shook, but I shoved them into my hoodie pockets. I had to do this. Then the humming began, not distant this time, not faint, loud, surrounding us, wrapping around us like a silent beast. Dale cursed, stepping back. James stiffened. They heard it. They heard it. Then we saw them. 7 figures, hanging from the bridge, still, twisting, watching, crying. Dale moved first. A strangled sound escaped him, something between a scream and a curse, but he didn't stop to process what he was seeing. He ran. James followed, stumbling backward, dragging me with him. His grip was tight, nails digging into my wrist, pulling me toward the truck like he was afraid the ground might swallow us. Yet I hesitated, not because I wanted to stay, but because the figures had turned their heads toward us. 7 sets of hollow, bloodshot eyes locked onto mine, their swollen maggot-filled mouths twisted, open but not speaking, tongues blackened and shriveled from the noose around their throats. But I heard them anyway. "Come back." Left us. Fix it. Then one of them moved. A rope, a wet, tearing, gurgling sound filling the air. Everything became a blur. Before I knew what I had done, I ran. The truck door slammed behind me, Dale fumbling with the keys, James breathing hard beside me. The engine roared to life, the tires kicking gravel as we sped away, the bridge shrinking in the distance. But the voices never faded, becoming a constant hum. By the time we reached town, Dale's hands were shaking too much to hold his phone, and James had gone silent, just staring at the road ahead, eyes wide, unblinking. I sat in the back, gripping my knees, pulse hammering, because even though we had left, I could still see them. Now, they weren't just at the bridge. They were everywhere. A violent jerk, body convulsing against the rope. The bridge never let us go. After that second visit, after we saw those things, everything got worse. The air around us felt heavier, like we were dragging something unseen everywhere we went. At first, I thought it was just me. The noises hadn't stopped. It followed me home, curling beneath the sound of my breathing, hiding under the flicker of my bedroom light. Then James called. "I saw it again," he whispered. "The bridge." But I wasn't there. I was in my room. But when I blinked, I was hanging from it. Then Dale was next. He slammed his palms against the hood of his truck one afternoon, shaking his head like he was trying to wake up. I keep seeing them. Everywhere. In the mirror. Outside my window. In the back seat when I drive. They don't move, but they're watching. And me? I was drowning in it. The hallucinations weren't just flickers anymore. They were vivid, brutal. I couldn't tell if I was awake or dreaming, because every time I blinked, I saw them die, At times, seeing U.S. die, the first man, he kicked, struggled. His fingers clawed at the rope around his neck, body convulsing as blood pooled behind his eyes. The second, silent, motionless, accepting the fate she'd been given. The third screamed, a raw, splintering sound that tore through my skull. His mouth twisted open as if the air had been ripped from his lungs. And the rest, they watched me. Even as they hung, the stares burned into me. I gripped my desk, panting, choking on air, the classroom around me collapsing into static. Dale and James were looking at me. They knew, because now they had seen it too. The days after the second visit blurred into something fractured. None of US could hold on to reality the way we used to. Yet I wasn't alone anymore. Now Dale and James heard them too. The voices had spread like an infection, crawling into our lives, twisting in ways none of us could ignore. And the hallucinations were worse. After me, James saw them after. It was late, maybe 2 in the morning when he called. His voice was hoarse, barely above a whisper. "They're here." I sat up, gripping my phone. Where? My room. His breath hitched, hanging from the ceiling. A hollow silence stretched between us. I tried to think maybe he was just seeing it, just reliving the moment. But then his voice cracked. "They're moving this time." I couldn't respond, because I knew James was right. It wasn't just frozen images anymore. They were changing, shifting, growing closer. I had seen them as well. Then Dale had his turn. I met up with him a few days later, standing outside his truck, the air thick with weed smoke and something wrong. "I can't look at my mirrors anymore," he muttered, staring past me, eyes red-rimmed and dry. "Every time I do, I see one behind me." I swallowed hard. He dragged a hand through his hair. "I think it's getting worse." And I knew he was right, because now they weren't just hanging from a bridge. They were hanging from us. The unraveling was slow, but inevitable. I should have seen it coming. One day, sitting in Dale's truck, parked behind the abandoned gas station on the edge of town, a regular hangout spot for us, James was jittery, legs bouncing, knuckles tight around a half-smoked cigarette. Dale was eerily still, staring ahead, barely blinking. The silence between us felt wrong, uncomfortable, heavy, suffocating, buzzing with something we couldn't name. Then Dale twitched, a sharp inhale, fingers curling into fists, his jaw locked. "Dale!" I frowned, shifting toward him. "You good?" He didn't answer. Instead, his head snapped toward James, eyes wide, wild, like he didn't recognize him. And then he lunged. James barely had time to react before Dale's hands were around his throat, knocking him back against the passenger door. "Dude!" I shouted, scrambling to pull him off. James choked, gasping, nails digging into Dale's arms, struggling to push him away. But Dale's grip tightened. His eyes weren't normal. They were bloodshot, blown wide, like something else was looking through them. And then he spoke, though it wasn't his voice. "You crossed the bridge. You left us there. Why did you leave?" My stomach dropped. I grabbed Dale, yanking him back with everything I had, forcing him against the seat, pinning his wrists. James coughed violently, sucking in air, shaking all over. Dale blinked fast. Something snapped back into place. His face crumpled, realization hitting like a freight train. "Oh my God," he whispered. His whole body trembled, eyes darting between me and James. "I didn't mean to. I don't know what..." James was still catching his breath, rubbing his throat. His expression wasn't angry. It was terrified. Dale's hands trembled as he reached for James, stopping short. Both were terrified. "I don't know what happened," he breathed. "I swear to God, I wasn't. I don't even remember." None of us knew what to say, because deep down we knew the truth. It wasn't Dale. Not really. The next week passed in a haze of frantic research and uneasy silence. None of us wanted to talk about what happened in the truck. Dale afraid to ask for forgiveness. And would James even accept it? We moved carefully around each other. Conversations clipped. Tensions hanging in the air like fog. But the whispers never stopped. James buried himself in old news articles, digging through anything that mentioned Seven Devils Bridge. He found scraps, bits of folklore, missing persons reports, vague warnings dating back decades. Dale spent nights glued to his laptop, scrolling through conspiracy forums, desperate for anything that felt familiar. And me? I was lost, just listened. Slowly the voices were changing. You don't belong. You never left. Fix it. The more we searched, the worse it got as time passed. Reality slipped. And then James woke up wrong. I got a call at dawn, his voice shaking, not normal, not James. I don't. His breath came sharp, clipped uneven. There's blood in my bed. I sat up fast, heart hammering, the fog of sleep washing away quickly. What? I don't know where it came from. His voice cracked. I don't know if it's mine. Something cold settled in my stomach. Did he not know? Dale and I rushed over. James was waiting for us on his porch. Skin pale, pupils blown wide like he hadn't slept. He led us into his home, slowly, reluctant. It dawned on me that he hadn't been inside since our call. The sheets soaked, rust-colored, thick, too much blood for one person. But James had no wounds, nothing at all, nothing on him. And the worst part, when Dale pulled back the blankets, there were handprints, 7 of them, smudged into the fabric, fingers long, warped, close but not human. I swear I saw claw marks, but couldn't be sure. James sat on the floor, shaking, staring at his hands like they weren't his. I don't remember falling asleep. Dale swallowed hard. Maybe you didn't? None of us had an answer, because now it wasn't just hallucinations anymore. It was real, and we couldn't differentiate reality from fiction anymore. Reality and fiction were melding together. Desperation led us back. After a week of finding nothing, no explanations, no answers, just more paranoia, we had no choice. We didn't talk much on the drive. Dale gripped the wheel, white-knuckled, pale-faced. James sat rigid, hands tucked under his arms, as if he was trying to keep them from shaking. And me? I listened, lost in a haze of fear and confusion. The humming had changed. It wasn't just a whisper. Slowly, it became like music, with notes bent, broken, twisting through the air like a sound that had never been meant for human ears, yet still alluring. By the time we arrived, the moon sat heavy in the sky, casting long, jagged shadows across the cracked pavement. The bridge loomed ahead, every shadow dancing in my mind. None of us moved at first, like we were waiting for permission. Then James let out a breath. We go together. Dale nodded stiffly. I swallowed hard. Yeah. And we stepped forward, back into whatever this was we had stumbled into, whatever had never really let us go. It felt as though the bridge let us in before we had the chance to change our minds. The moment our feet hit the wood, the air shifted. Thicker, heavier, like space was compressing around us. Everything sounded wrong, felt wrong. James sucked in a breath. Do you feel that? None of us answered. We all felt it. Then reality bled away. Dale was the first to break. His eyes widened, breath coming in short bursts as he reached the side of his head. No, he whispered. They're inside. I can feel them. I can hear them. I turned toward him, stepping closer, but he screamed. Not just a yell, a raw, primal shriek of terror. Get away! He stumbled back, eyes locked onto something that wasn't there. His hands twitched like he was trying to claw something out of his own skin. James grabbed him, voice sharp. Dale, it's not real. But Dale wasn't listening. Then James froze. His face slackened, breath hitching as his gaze lifted toward the bridge, as if he saw something standing there, watching us. His lips trembled. They're moving. And then was my turn. The world fractured around me. The air bled. The bridge split open, spilling its rotted history out into the night. And something crawled toward me. Not human. Not alive. A writhing puddle of limbs bent the wrong way. Its mouth a gaping pit of blackened teeth. Flies and maggots flowing out. It lunged. I didn't think, I couldn't, I just swung. The force of the hit sent it sprawling. I didn't stop, terror, rage, and delirium fueling me. My fist landed, again and again, crushing, tearing, breaking. It twitched beneath me, convulsed, cracked, final, and then I blinked. The hallucination melted away, and James lay beneath me, breathing ragged, bleeding. Then he wasn't breathing at all. His body lay twisted, throat slack, eyes wide, yet unseeing. Blood pooled beneath his cracked skull, soaking into the rotting wood. His chest didn't rise, didn't fall, didn't move. James was dead, and it was my fault. Dale was on his knees now, hands tangled in his hair, rocking slightly, whispering something, but his words I couldn't be heard over the humming. The bridge had taken James, and we were still standing on it. Dale moved before I could say anything. 1 second. He was kneeling beside James's body, face pale, hand shaking. The next, he was running, away from the bridge, away from me. No, Dale, wait! I scrambled to my feet, my pulse roaring in my ears. My hands were still wet with blood, James's blood. Dale didn't stop. His breath came ragged, sharp, cutting through the silence like a blade as he ran toward the road, toward the way out. I didn't know what else to do, so I chased after him. I could hear my own voice, raw, desperate. Dale, listen to me, please. I didn't mean to. I didn't. He wasn't listening. Then he slowed. His footsteps faltered, his pace uneven. Then he stopped completely. I nearly crashed into him, gasping, grabbing his arm. Dale, we have to... Then I saw it. The bridge was still in front of us. Even though we'd been running the opposite way, even though we should have left it behind, IT was still there, like we hadn't moved at all. Dale staggered back, shaking his head, his breath quick and shallow. No, this isn't right. This isn't. My stomach turned as I whipped around, looking back the way we'd come, but it was the same, wooden planks stretching endlessly in both directions. No exit, no road, just a bridge, and all around us, the humming grew louder. Dale snapped. The weight of everything, the hallucinations, the never-ending bridge, James's death. Everything crashed into him at once. He whirled around, his face twisted with rage and grief, his breath sharp, uneven. You killed him. His voice was raw, cracking like something inside him had finally broken. James is dead because of you. My heart dropped. A truth I refused to accept. I thought I was fighting something. My words came out frantic, desperate, but Dale wasn't listening. You always thought you were fighting something. Dale's hand shook, his body tense with something more than fear. Hate, betrayal, terror. Maybe it's you that's the problem. Maybe this place wanted you, not us. I flinched. The words I had thought hurt so much more to hear aloud. Dale was breathing fast now, eyes darting wildly, his voice tearing through the air like a knife. You think I can ever forget what I just saw, he hissed. You think I can just live with this? I moved toward him, hands raised, pleading. Dale, please. We have to get out of here. We have to. He shook his head violently, staggering backward, eyes glassy and frantic. There's no way out. And then we saw it from the shadows of the bridge. Something stirred. A shape. A rotting, twisting thing. Its limbs bent at unnatural angles. Its flesh torn and leaking. Bones jutting through in jagged, uneven splinters. Its head tilted too far, its mouth wrong. Breathing, watching, waiting. But the humming, the damn endless, suffocating hum, was gone. In its place, James's voice. Come closer. Don't left me. You can't leave too. A whisper, soft, almost pleading, curling to the air around us, threading into our bones. Dale froze. I couldn't breathe. James was dead. We knew that. We saw it. I did it. But his voice didn't care because now it wanted us too. Then the voices came all at once, an explosion of whispers, a chorus of the dead, words tangled and overlapping, crawling into our ears like rot. Don't leave us. You belong here. Come closer. Make it right. Dale screamed. He clutched his head, stumbling back, his breath ragged and sharp, his mind fracturing beneath the weight of voices that weren't his. Shut up, he gasped. Shut up. But they wouldn't stop. I tried to reach for him, tried to pull him back, but something had already twisted or snapped within him. His movements turned jerky, erratic, his pupils blown wide, unfocused, lost. And then the glint of metal, a pocket knife. Dale lunged. I barely moved in time. The blade sliced the air, narrowly missing my throat. Dale! My voice cracked, frantic. Stop. It's me. But was it Dale anymore? I couldn't be sure. His breathing hitched, hands trembling, eyes wild and not his own. Fix it. You cross the bridge. Don't leave us. The voices push him forward. I grabbed at his wrist, forcing away, but he seemed stronger now. Or maybe something else was inside him. The struggle blurred, violent, desperate. Blood. My own? His? Both? The knife twisted, slipped from his grip, clattered onto the wood. Dale staggered back, chest heaving, eyes flickering between recognition and something else. I didn't move, because now the bridge was waiting. Blood pooled at our feet. I didn't know whose at first. Mine? His? Both? But I felt it warm against my skin, soaking into the decay beneath us. Dale staggered back, his breath coming in jagged gasps, eyes flickering between horror and realization. I clutched my side, fingers pressing against the sharp tear in my shirt, the sting beneath it. I'd been cut fairly deep, but Dale was worse. A gash ran along his arm, deep, trembling, red spilling between his fingers as he tried to press against it. We stared at each other, shaken, ruined, then Dale's face collapsed. His breath came faster, sharp and uneven, like everything inside him was unraveling all at once. I did that, he stammered, voice broken. He shook his head violently, like he could erase what had just happened. I hurt you. I hurt. His gaze flickered toward James's body. The blood, the twisted, motionless shape. No, Dale's voice cracked. His hands trembled. This wasn't supposed to. I stepped forward, ignoring the sting in my side. Dale, listen to me. We have to figure this. How am I supposed to figure this out? His voice rose, tight, unhinged. James is dead. I tried to kill you. I don't. He cut himself off, his chest heaving, his hands gripping his own hair. His breath hitched. And then I saw the moment he decided, the shift in his posture, the way his body stilled, false calmness in the moment. I can't do this anymore. Dale. His hands moved too fast, the knife flashed, and then his throat was open. The sound that escaped his lips was small, broken, not meant for the world to hear. I lurched forward, catching him as his body buckled, dragging him onto my lap, pressing my hands against the wound. But it didn't matter. There was too much blood. Dale. My voice cracked, shook, choked on something that felt like glass in my throat. His mouth moved, but the words didn't come. His fingers twitched against mine, then went still. The bridge watched. The voices whispered. And Dale, he was gone. I felt the bridge breathe. I was alone now. Or maybe I never had been. Maybe I had always belonged here, just waiting for my turn. James lay twisted where I left him. Dale's body was slack, broken. The knife still loosely in his fingers, his blood pooling in sick rivulets. And me? I had nowhere left to run. The moment Dale's body went still, everything erupted. The whispers turned to screams. James's voice, Dale's voice, a chorus of them, layered, overlapping, raw, hateful. You did this. You killed me. We're still here. You belong here. I clutched my head, pressing my palms against my temples, trying to drown them out. But no, it was inside me now. They were inside me. Then the hallucinations ripped open. James stood in front of me, neck twisted, his lips curled into something between a grin and a snarl. His throat moved, but I saw the gash, the ruined flesh, the blood still dripping and spurting. I woke up in blood. Dale trembled beside him, his hands wrapped around his own throat, gasping like he was still trying to breathe. You did this. I stumbled away. No, they were dead. And then the bridge changed. The planks beneath me twisted, rotted, pulsed. The air shifted. thick with something I could feel crawling into my lungs. Everything bent, distorted, splintered apart until there was only darkness, and the sound of laughter. Not mine, not Dale's, not James's. Something else. Something that had been waiting all along. The bridge had taken everything. James, Dale, reality itself. I had nothing left except the truth it was forcing me to see. The voices didn't stop. They slithered around me, wrapping into my thoughts, twisting into something that felt more real than my own skin. You never left. You belong here. This is where you stay. But then blackness. Everything tore away. I woke up somewhere else. Cold metal beneath me. Bright lights overhead. For a moment, I thought I was dead, that the bridge had finally finished what it started. God, no. The voices, wait. Real voices? Not whispers. Found him wandering. Covered in blood, most of it wasn't his. 2 confirmed deaths. Dale and James. Killed on the bridge. But the way we found them. Rambling. Hallucinating. Won't stop talking about the bridge. I realized the pressure around my wrists. Restrained. I twisted, blinking fast. White walls. Clinical air. Not the bridge, but I was still trapped. Weeks passed. Month perhaps? I didn't know because none of it was mine anymore. The cops labeled it murder. The psychiatric evaluations labeled it delusion. They didn't believe me. Hell, they couldn't believe me. And now, I sit in a windowless room, retelling my story one last time. My voice hollow, distant, and at the end, when I had nothing left to say, I exhaled slowly. Then, I reached for the only thing I had left, a sharpened edge. One last choice, before the bridge could take me back. Am I crazy, or was the bridge real? Either way, I still hear the distant, alluring hum, inviting me home.